Hi everyone, Laura, Jackie, and Rob here for another episode of Jammin' on the Run. We have an awesome topic for tonight.
Yeah, a lot to talk about. I wrote an article regarding how I think D23 is going to affect Run Disney. I am a huge Disney nerd, and there was so much things that came out of this weekend. But when all was said and done, I was kind of left with wondering, like, what does this all mean for Run Disney? Because a lot of it, I think, will impact it, whether directly or indirectly. And I think to start, Laura, I think one of the biggest things coming is Star Wars Land in the next 2 years. Beginning in 2019,
Yes,
Disneyland gets it first.
yes,
No official release dates, but the lands look really cool. They released some new models and some new photos from what the land's going to look like and what to expect regarding its two attractions: the Millennium Falcon attraction and the battle against the First Order. Looks really, really cool. And Laura, Jackie, how do you feel about running through Star Wars Land, which is going to be called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge?
I will be the first to admit it. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, even though the first movie coming out was in my generation, big deal back then. But I'm so excited and I'm ready to just take my money, Run Disney. I will be signing up for that race the first day, first second it's open. I'm very
For me,
excited.
I'll say anytime, the more time I'm in the parks, the better. Keep expanding because that means less time out on those roads. So I'm
Mhm.
super excited. I think it'll be really cool to run through. And I also think it will help guarantee, hopefully, there's more Star Wars runs in the future because I haven't gotten to do one. So I'm
Yes,
hoping that's a good sign for those.
yes.
Yeah, kind of curious as to what is up with Lightside coming up in January. There's been no announcement, nothing, no
Martine
signups yet
Geiger.
still.
Yeah.
And I checked the website like a little earlier just to make sure I didn't miss anything, and it still says that stay tuned. Announcement regarding registration coming up soon. But I'm like, this race is in January. It's July.
Hmm.
Are we agreeing that this race is not happening at this point? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious as to how that's going to affect. So I don't know if it's a correlation between Star Wars Land being a couple years out or what they're hoping to do there. But
It would be
I
smart
think
if they postponed it because now people are going to be like, well, I was thinking about doing Star Wars, but I'm going to wait and spend that money when they have the new land open. I mean, that would be what
yeah,
my
but
thinking would be.
people are already signed up for next year's Dark Side
Yeah, yeah.
at Walt Disney World. So I don't get that. Like I don't understand that. But we'll wait and see. I think there's a direct correlation there somehow. I'm waiting for an announcement in some regard, hopefully soon, to kind of clarify that. Not that I'm going to get a chance to run Lightside this year, but it's definitely a race that's been on my radar. Hopefully soon. Some other big news that came out. Guardians of the Galaxy, one of my favorites, coming to Walt Disney World. It's Walt Disney World's first Marvel attraction that they're getting. Not to get into the technicalities as to why they don't have Marvel based off the Universal agreement, but this, I think, opens up a little bit of hope that we may get some Marvel theming to a race down in Walt Disney World, and maybe another version of a Coast to Coast challenge, kind of tied in with Avengers out in Disneyland.
Hmm.
Curious as to what your thoughts are regarding that one.
I think anything that I'm not necessarily a Marvel fan, but I do like the idea of challenges, more medals. It gives you an incentive to do one on each side.
Hmm.
And anything new when it comes to Run Disney excites me. So I hope it's true.
Yes.
Jackie, there was some announcements regarding transportation, and you want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, so Disney announced they're going to do their own version of Uber in the parks, and I think it's called Minivan. Minnie, and they're actually Chevy Traverses, SUVs that hold, I think, 8 people, it said, and it's their version of Uber. So if you don't want to wait for Disney transportation buses, you can call and get your minivan, and it'll take you to wherever you need to be. There is, from what I'm reading so far, there's a flat rate of $20. So I don't know if it's worth it for some people when it comes to Run Disney. I think it's a excellent option to either get to the expo or maybe race morning. Waiting for buses can be pretty stressful. So if you get a group of friends together, you split up your $20. This might be a really good option. Or even after the race. I will admit, waiting for a bus after a race,
Can be
it's
painful.
kind of, yeah.
We've
This
all
can be
had really
difficult.
bad experiences with buses, and
Yeah.
I think I definitely, Jackie, can see some value. That you mentioned the expo. I didn't even consider that. I forget about the expo, right? But what a process it can be to get to the expo sometimes, right? How great would it be just to be able to call up an Uber or this Disney service to get you there quicker? So I think any time that we're kind of giving another option, it's a good thing. The one thing that you can say about this Disney service, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than Uber probably, from what I'm hearing, but it's a Disney cast member, so
Yeah.
you have that safety net. That Disney bubble kind of stays with you throughout your whole trip. So you know what, this may work for some people, but again, another option to get you to and from races, to and from the expos. I think it's a good thing.
Well, also too, those who are doing the Dopey Challenge or the big races, this is a good way to get off your feet and save your legs because sometimes if you're waiting for a bus ride, that can add an hour to your day by the time you
At
wait in
least,
line
yeah.
and then see if you can get on the bus. And sometimes you have to stand. So yeah, considering how much you paid to run Dopey, shelling out a couple extra bucks to save your legs is a smart choice.
And like I said, these are Disney cast members who know the property, know how to get around. I've been on buses that the bus drivers don't know where they're going and they get lost and they have to turn around and they end up getting stuck in traffic. And it can be very stressful riding those buses sometimes. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be good. It could be worth it. For peace of mind alone, I can never put a price tag on that. Peace of mind and time, right? That's crucial for us. You want to get to the races early. Laura knows if you're following Laura, you got to get there at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, right?
And you're gonna love it. You'll be
So
happy.
this is
You'll be
this is a
thanking
good
me
thing.
later on.
Yeah, and I would have to think that with Disney controlling it, there may be more availability than relying on somebody to be awake at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, hoping to be able to catch an Uber who may be off property that may take 15, 20 minutes to come get you. The other thing to kind of keep in mind is these guys are going to be right there. Could be a lot easier, a lot quicker to catch one. So who knows? We'll
To
see.
be determined.
To be determined. One of the things that we always talk about with Run Disney is signups, right? Registering for races. You get to, if you're an annual pass holder or a DVC member, you get to register a week earlier than usual, usually. And Disney just opened up a brand new DVC at Wilderness Lodge, the Copper Creek cabins, and just announced this weekend is a new DVC coming to the Caribbean Beach area that they've just demolished. That's going to be called the Riviera Resort. So Laura, Jackie, how do we feel this may impact registration going forward?
Well, it depends. The rumored amount of spots that they would hold for annual pass holders and DVC members has always been 10%. So that's going to depend if they keep it at 10% or are they going to raise it up because there are more members out there. So they have never released that information. That's always been a guesstimation. So who knows? And on the other hand, Run Disney races aren't selling out typically, aren't selling out as fast. So that is a big to be determined, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that if we ever do see a swing back towards races selling out in a frenzy, having a free an AP or DVC is going to be crucial. And like you said, Laura, where they've added so many DVCs and are continuing to add DVCs, what are the perks that going with those? Are they going to want to increase the opportunity for DVC members to get first dibs?
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that can kind of affect things. But I think more availability overall is a good thing for everybody, right?
Mhm.
California got a little bit of attention this weekend, not so much, not a ton of things, but very Pixar heavy. They are rebranding Paradise Pier, which Laura and I love, to Pixar, which we're not too crazy about. We'll see how that plays out.
I'm excited.
But Radiator Springs is getting a Halloween makeover this year. There'll be Halloween decorations and costumes, and a whole Pixar
awesome.
Fest. Yeah, a whole Pixar Fest coming next year with a brand new nighttime spectacular over at Disneyland, as well as moving the Pixar Parade over there and bringing back Paint the Night at California Adventure.
So happy
interesting.
about that.
Yeah, interesting this year that they renamed the Dumbo Double Dare to the Disneyland Double Dare and made it Pixar themed.
Yeah.
So kind of curious as to maybe this may be the theme for that weekend then going forward, that they might kind of keep it Pixar themed, which I think I'm fine with. I'm sure you guys too.
I'm great with it, especially since, Rob, can we get you on camera what you told us before? What was that again?
No.
A?
I think I definitely want to do next year's Disneyland Double Dare.
Boom,
it's another coast to coast. I love it out there. Hopefully we can make it happen. We'll see what the family situation says, but and where we're at. But I would definitely love to. It's still my favorite race weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah. One of the things that I wasn't expecting, there's a lot of things you hear rumors for and you're just kind of waiting for confirmations on. we knew there were 2 new cruise ships coming down the road in 2019 and 2020. We heard this weekend it's actually going to be 3 ships. So that's pretty huge that they're expanding their fleet from 4 to 7 over the next few years. Megan and I just talked about our cruising and especially the Castaway Cay 5K experiences on a podcast that's yet to be released. Look for that soon. Subscribe to Podbean and iTunes. But I think it's kind of interesting that they're adding this many ships. Are we going to see some sort of expansion on the Castaway Cay 5K? Are they going to do something different? The potential to maybe feature a different run on a different ship, a different itinerary, maybe in a different area. I think there's an audience for that. So, this Castaway Cay 5K kind of grew organically from just a ton of runners wanting to run on the island. So I think there's an audience to maybe expand on that a little bit. And who knows, maybe Disney may procure another island down the road. Is that possible? Is that a thing? I don't know.
Well, with all this new additions coming up, it's going to lead to a lot of construction.
Yeah, there's been so much construction, and not even just with the park stuff, with infrastructure. They're doing a lot of infrastructure work that's affected things too. So it's going to be interesting to see how these courses continue to get impacted over the next few years until really the 50th anniversary, when a lot of this stuff is supposed to be open, which will be in 2021 of Walt Disney World. And hopefully we'll get to a point, like Jackie, you said, that it's going to be a lot of park time. More park time is a good thing. Get off these stupid highways and these back ways and make it more immersive for everybody.
I feel like we're right now probably at the worst of it because we had Animal Kingdom completely pretty much, a lot of that shut down. And because we had Animal Kingdom, completely cut down and most of Hollywood Studios. So I'm hoping, and even Dopey this coming year, maybe they'll open up Animal Kingdom a little bit and we'll be able to run through Pandora. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Adventure. So hopefully we're at the worst of it, and in the future the runs will definitely include more park time, and the construction will slowly affect the races less and less, and hopefully bring back a night race because that's my dream.
Yes, I think we're all on board with that one. We all want a night race.
Just do it. Yep.
Bring back Tower of Terror. That's what we want.
Oh my gosh, Tower of Terror. Can you imagine? And I think they should make it a half, not a 10-miler. They need.
Right, take my money. And we talked about you brushed on Wine and Dine. Last year they kind of was the first year they changed the Wine and Dine from a night race to a day race, themed it around Beauty and the Beast to kind of, I think, coincide with the live action release that was coming a few months later. Disney announced a boatload of new movies coming over the weekend, live action versions of The Lion King, Dumbo, and Mulan, as well as animated movies Coco, Wreck-It Ralph 2, Incredibles 2, not to mention the new Avengers Infinity War that's going to be coming out, which I am super psyched for, which will feature Guardians of the Galaxy as well. And so plenty of potential themes down the road. And again, Jackie, I think like you said, I think Run Disney's going the route of changing these themes up a little bit more regularly every year to bring new flavor to these races, new medals, new whatever. Because I think a lot of it's returning customers. I think a good majority of Run Disney runners are returning customers and who have already done, who have a Dumbo medal, have Tinkerbell medals, have Coast to Coast medals. So I think it's imperative for them to keep it fresh and keep changing it up. What do you guys think?
I would love to see Mulan for the Princess Half. I would love it because she is like my favorite princess. She kicks butt. She gets it done herself. So I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I would love a Lion King themed race and somehow incorporate Animal Kingdom a little bit more into it. Something even like a new race, a little more Animal Kingdom, maybe start there or something, and with the Lion King. But with the live action, I would prefer they go with the old for the medals, the original. So a lot of potential there.
Yeah. Okay, so that is going to wrap it up for this chat about D23. But now we want to know about you. What are you most excited about, and how do you think that this is all going to affect the future of Run Disney? Thank you so much for watching. A big welcome to our new subscribers. We're so glad you're here. Hit that likes button if you enjoyed this, and as always, take care and have a joyful day.
Thank you.